Alright, it is 10:10 a.m. and I want to record this while it looks dry and maybe it won't really do anything. But I did have a trade here with NWBO and this one did not work out at all, but that's totally fine. The previous day high, as you can see right here, was 979 and I did get in at 97 at 934, which was way up here because of the fact that it was looking like we were going to break above 97, which was a level of resistance. So I thought, it opened here, had a bit of a dip, it had a whole bunch of volume, then it started to trade back and forth, and it was trying to hold above VWAP and then break that level of 97. And I was going to cut the trade if it looks like it's going to break below VWAP, and yeah, that was the case. VWAP breaking and then the day low as the ultimate level. I did cut the trade at 937, which was this big candle right here. I did place an order with a very wide limit, so that helped out because I was able to get out at 96. So again, I was here at 97, out at 96, and yeah, it just didn't work out, and it sold off, and I didn't want to trade this, at least from my experience. I just don't feel that good trading a potential panic dip buy while it's still under a downtrending trend line, but it did turn around in theory just with a bit of a wide an ugly spread I got from the 90s to 92, and then I was also tempted to buy the breakout above 92 because this looked like the resistance level to break past this little channel and then maybe try to regain itself, but I didn't pull it because it just seemed a bit off, and then it sold off again, and then it's been trading back and forth with a really ugly wide spread ever since. There was also a point where I was interested in buying because it was a very large, I think it was like a 250 share, 1,000 share bidder right here at 87, I think 51. And I never pulled the trigger because I've seen this happen now a few times, especially yesterday with NWBO, that a big bidder just shows up and then it pushes the price action up and then that big bidder just disappears and then it sells off. So I just knew not to fall for that trap again. Maybe this thing over a longer period of time can do some curving price action and maybe try to break above this 90 level, or 89 I guess is a new level of resistance, and maybe get to VWAP eventually. It doesn't look too bad for a potential dip buy looking at this chart right here, but it doesn't have to do it. If I have to guess, I think it could, but there is that big seller there at 89 and it hasn't gone away. That's pretty much it for right now. There isn't really anything else that I'm too interested in. This one was nice. In theory, this one offered like a very slow dip and rip, and it finally broke above the previous day high here at 94. This one, just kind of, you could almost call this a dip and rip. It kind of opened and then sold off, and then it came back, and then it did it again, and not much volley, but that momentum seems to not look so bad. Yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. CRTD will be interesting if it does like a dip under VWAP and it starts to show signs of a reversal. That's pretty much it. I'll make an update as to what NWBO does as well as any other setups if I take any. Alright, it is 12:02 a.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be down on the day $7 and 97 cents. And that was with two trades. I did have another trade with CRTD and I could have traded much better, but let's just first go over the setup with CRTD. I did buy 300 shares, and that was actually, yeah, 300 shares at 11.29. So right here is when I got in, and it was at 139. Why did I get in this setup? I got in it because we were breaking, as you can see, the previous day high, or I guess not the previous day high, the actual day high. I didn't mean to say previous day high of 137, and we were uptrending, and it was looking very nice, but I was very iffy with this setup because it kind of had this uptrend right here. I guess this is a bull flag now looking at it. Another spike, and then it has a dip. And then we were just creeping up to this day high, and it just breaks past it. And even though I saw that price action and everything, I think I got in this one because it was a big bidder that showed up. I just didn't like how we broke past the level and it didn't do like another dip or something like that. So it could have like a little more confirmation. Instead, it just got above this level and just started to trade up. And I did get shaken out of it. I got out at 11:32. So that was right here. 11:32 at the bottom part, 138. So it was just one penny less. and because I was trading 300 shares, it was roughly a $3 loss. It did get as high as 148, but I was just shaking out, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have just stuck into my trend line right here, and I could have cut the trade maybe officially once it breaks under it, which it eventually did. And it did sell off here with some considerable volume, but yeah, I could have traded this one way differently, and I could have been actually pretty profitable today. And then with NWBO, this one did ultimately turn around. And I think one thing that I could have done was is that once this big bidder that was at this point right here, I think it was 88, was taken out, I probably should have considered a buy just because of the fact that hindsight is 2020, sure, but I've seen something like this happen so much where something just sells off, it runs out of volume eventually, and then it starts to uptrend like it did right here. And it also had like a lot of people supporting it in the 88s and the 87s. And in theory, I was actually thinking of buying 2,000 shares of this stock, which would have been pretty profitable because it did get to VWAP in a little bit above it. So I do kind of regret missing out on this setup. And ideally, in the future, if I see something like this, I can have that same convention of just seeing this setup multiple times and I can actually trade maybe something much larger than $100 risk level and be able to really profit from it. God willing, that could be the situation, but at least I got to be on the right track. I just didn't trade it, and at least I didn't also try to, after that loss right here, try to rebuy a whole bunch of times and burn a bunch of money. I've made that mistake before too, so I am getting better, but I want to get even better than where I am and keep trying to do better in that sense. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just those two trades, but I could have done much better today, and ideally tomorrow the bar is set low so I can do much better. Uh, yeah, a lot of things I need to keep working on, and I need to keep trying to see the patterns that I've been seeing multiple times and try to trade those as well as possible.